With a lot of AI, while we've built this very deep product targeted at customer service, we have made it customizable, and then customers will start to stretch it because it can just do a lot, it can deliver a lot of value. But we don't really want our customers, writing individual prompts and trying to get down into the machine learning, because, we're able to go and test and optimize Fin across thousands of businesses, and that just helps us get better quality than you get by targeting anyone.
Build the future of multi-agent software with Agency. That's AGNTCY. Now an open source Linux Foundation project, Agency is building the Internet of Agents, a collaborative layer where AI agents can discover, connect, and work across any framework. All the pieces engineers need to deploy multi-agent systems now belong to everyone who builds on Agency, including robust identity and access management that ensures every agent is authenticated and trusted before interacting. Agency also provides open, standardized tools for agent discovery, seamless protocols for agent-to-agent communication, and modular components for scalable workflows. Collaborate with developers from Cisco, Dell Technologies, Google Cloud, Oracle, Red Hat, and more than 75 other supporting companies to build next-generation AI infrastructure together. Agency is dropping code, specs, and services, no strings attached. Visit agency.org to contribute. That's agntcy.org.
So my name is Fergal Reid. I'm Chief AI Officer here at Intercom. I've been with Intercom about 8 years. I have a technical background of a PhD in sort of machine learning applied to network analysis, degrees in computer science and maths, and been kind of working in AI and machine learning for a long time now. And I joined Intercom about 8 years ago to kind of start building really the machine learning function in Intercom. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, and we're talking about agents today, and specifically Intercom's agent. Is it an agent platform, or is it an agent?
Yeah, there's sort of a blurry line between those two things. We would describe Fin as more of an agent. However, it's a highly configurable agent. You can really adapt it to do a lot of things for your business. We're still a little skeptical about very pure agent platforms. They tend to not deliver the quality that's needed today to accomplish any one task end to end. So we've kind of been a bit more opinionated than that. We've built an agent product, which is Fin, but we've done a lot of work to make it very highly configurable and customizable. But we don't really want our customers, writing individual prompts and trying to get down into the machine learning, because, we're able to go and test and optimize Fin across thousands of businesses, and that just helps us get better quality than you get by targeting anyone. So yeah.
And product. Intercom, what was Intercom doing before it launched Fin?
Intercom is traditionally a SaaS company. It's been around, 12, 13 years, something like that, and really launched the business messenger way back when. It's one of these messengers that appeared in the little corner of a website and you could talk to people. Intercom was one of the first, if not the first, to build a product like that, which then kind of went everywhere. And Intercom kind of evolved from that into a customer support platform. So, people at the other end of that messenger, customer support agents, answering customer support questions at scale, giving really good customer service. Intercom's mission traditionally was, make internet business personal, really, really kind of give great product experiences on the internet, like you might get if you had previously, you went into a coffee shop and you had that highly personal service. So that's kind of what we did traditionally. And we're sort of an early adopter of AI. We had a previous generation product before Fin, Resolution Bot. We put a lot of work into to answer customer questions. And then we were really well positioned when the current wave of AI came to sort of take advantage of it.
And you're squarely in the customer service space, is that right?
That's where we are today. I think, our future aspirations are broader than that. But today, definitely the product we have, Fin, is targeted at doing customer service and does a really great job of it. Now, customers do stretch that. Fin can do a lot. It's a very powerful product, can do a lot of functionality. So we do see customers stretching it where they're sort of, they buy Fin primarily for customer service, but then they start doing things like, upselling or customer success. So, it's definitely an area in which our product is being stretched and being pulled broader by customers. We have some customers who use Fin today and they use it entirely in a pre-sales way. So, I think with a lot of AI, while we've built this very deep product targeted at customer service, we have made it customizable, and then customers will start to stretch it because it can just do a lot. It can deliver a lot of value for them. So yeah, that's roughly where we are.
And the agentic capabilities, what can Fin do? And is the interface through chat or voice? I mean, is text or voice or what?
Yeah, so Fin is it's a pretty fully featured product at this point. We've about over $50 million of annual recurring revenue, and it's used by like thousands of businesses. I think we've got more customers than any of the other sort of sophisticated customer service agents. And so the product, we've really built out the product. We've been doing this for over 2 years at this point. And so, we have a very full offering. We built just Fin for the messenger initially. Then it would run across things like WhatsApp and all the different channels. But then we built Fin for email. We had to build like a different architecture there to really deliver very high quality performance. So we're kind of doing that 18 months ago. And over the last year, we've built a cutting edge version of Fin that uses voice, uses like the latest sequence to sequence voice models. That's now running at scale in production. There are loads of customers now, loads of end users who are sort of like talking to Fin over a voice interface, and it's magical. It feels amazing to hear a phone conversation where someone is talking to Fin and it's just kind of answering their questions end to end. So yeah, the product is getting pretty broad and it's getting a lot of capabilities.
Yeah, and as I said, the agentic capabilities. I mean, Fin. Can you give us a use case where it's not simply question and answer? It's actively doing something.
Yeah. I mean, it does a lot of things. And, obviously, I would say, like, I wouldn't say just question and answering. Answering questions is a huge part of customer service. And, we've invested a lot in building the best kind of question answering piece. And there's a big difference between agent capabilities in that space. But yeah, Fin can do lots more than that. So we have customers who do things like, if they have it issue a refund, they have it handle returns. And we've built a very rich and deep product to kind of enable it to do that, to kind of, you can hook it up to your external systems, you can hook it up to your APIs, you sort of give it the parameters around that. And we've built a very rich, almost SaaS style, product to enable you to specify and to thread together the complexity of the procedures that your business needs in order to do something like actually issue a refund.
I see.
Every time we talk to a customer, they're like, "Oh, I know my refund policy. It's really simple." And like 2 weeks later, they actually finally get them to write down the refund policy on paper, and it's this big sprawling thing with all these edge cases. We've had to build a functionality to do that and to enable people to use LLMs in those like real production use cases. So yeah, so it's pretty agent.
And on refunds, because that's a pretty complicated use case. Fin actually then pushes the button to release money or wire money or what.
Yeah, it absolutely does. We absolutely have customers who have deployed this, where in like consequential areas, in areas where if it gets it wrong, their business will lose money, their end user will be extremely disappointed. We absolutely have customers who are using it in those ways. And, it's a lot of work to do that. Like, it's a whole different ball game when you start trying to do things like that. You have to convince the security team that, what if a customer tries to jailbreak this, or what if a customer tries refund or return a different customer's product? You have a whole different level of complexity you have to deal with there. You have to have like an API you can call. You have to like set up the API to work with Fin. And we've done a lot of work to try and make that easy. And we have like, I don't know, at least 5 years, maybe a lot longer, of investment in this space. We were building low code API integrations for customer service bots back before the current wave of LLMs. And what we've done now is we have integrated the next generation AI LLM technology with all that sort of like battle tested, secure, and easy to set up interfaces of before. And of course, we support MCP. When we saw MCP coming, we were like, wow, this is amazing. This is a potential huge unlock. And so I think we're in the first wave of people to like really support MCP at scale.
Yeah, and that's model context protocol that allows models to talk to each other or agents to talk to models. Is that right? The in the customer, do you focus on a particular vertical, or is this any customer service in any industry?
No, we don't focus on a particular vertical. And, we have lots of verticals that the product's very successful in. It's very successful in financial services. It's very successful in software as a service. And, areas where people want to give really great customer service, where they're, willing to pay for really great customer service, where it's worth it, where they want to use a very high quality product. Fin does really well on. But we don't constrain ourselves to a particular vertical. And we kind of think it's probably a mistake to do that. And, the reason why is that building a product that's horizontal like this, like there's so much commonality across the different use cases. The AI layer you can invest deeply in the AI layer. We've done things, we've built custom models, we've done a great deal of testing and optimization. And so we really have this product that's like unified. And then we have thousands of customers running it in production, and we're always improving it based on how well it does for those customers. And so like our product, our standardized product, really has outperformed vertical specific competitors who have a much smaller volume. We really think that there's really deep scaling and experimental laws in AI. You really want a standardized product envelope, a standardized product core that can be optimized and tested en masse across a very large number of customers, but then deeply customized for the individual business. And that's really what we've built. So we're not in a world where we're telling customers to go and prompt the agent. Instead, we've built a core that's standardized and that we have continually made better over time, but then with a customization layer that can adapt it to a specific business. I mean, that's the future.
And most of the customer service solutions that I've talked to work in tandem with a call center or a BPO. Does Fin do that as well?
Actually, I mean, you can deploy it, and we have customers that deploy it in every configuration. It's a very mature product on a very mature platform. We've been in this space for a long time. But I would say Fin is more likely to kind of compete with BPOs. Like we typically see, the typical pattern is a customer of ours will deploy it and they will often end a contract they had with a business process outsourcer that used to do maybe their sort of their tier one or their frontline support. Even a year ago, and the product was much less mature a year ago. Even a year ago, we were talking to customers who were like, "Yes, I've deployed Fin, and I have ended my relationship with my BPO. I still have my technical support team. I still have my own internal support team, but the BPO to which I was outsourcing sort of the simple queries is just gone, and Fin entirely does that, and more reliably, more cost effectively." And that was even a year and a half ago, and Fin's really, really pushed up the quality level since then. And a lot of people's internal tier one support is now doing something else as well.
And so what happens when a customer hits a wall that Fin can't resolve? Is it routed to your internal customer support?
Yeah, exactly. So,
I should say to the customer's internal customer support.
To the customer's internal customer support. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, we've been at this a long time. And so probably like 8 years ago, we were building Resolution Bot. with the previous generation tech. And while like the core engine's completely different and the modern AI is next generation and works much better, we were solving all those problems around escalation and how do you gracefully hand off to a human. And so we've great solutions for that. They're configurable, and we have like almost a decade worth of technology investment in there. But again, we completely rebuilt. We built Fin completely from scratch. We were out the door on GPT-4 launch day with our new GPT-4 powered product, and so it's an entirely new architecture. I think we're on generation 4 internally of it now, but it's connected to all those old battle tested systems that we've had for a very long time. And so escalation, yeah, we've had great escalation handover to humans for a long time. Very recently, we shipped a custom AI model trained ourselves that's great at detecting exactly when to escalate, exactly when to hard escalate, when not to escalate, and when to offer an escalation to the end user. So we've even built like custom AI technology in there to get particularly good at that. That's a problem that we care deeply about.
And I'm curious, is there some metric about what percentage of calls end up being escalated? And is it lower with Fin than with other solutions, or?
Yeah. So we have our core metric that we care the most about, we call resolution rate. And it's essentially the percentage of times when Fin is involved in a conversation that it successfully resolves the conversation versus when, you have to escalate to a human. And that for us is about 65, 66% at the moment. And that's sort of our North Star metric. We care deeply about it. It was about 35% when we launched Fin. And we have this like team, my team, it's about 50 people in it. We care deeply about constantly moving that metric up over time. We're constantly doing A/B tests. We're constantly taking any new change to the AI of Fin, running it at scale in production, hundreds of thousands of users in each version, and then checking to see, does it increase the resolution rate? And over time, we've managed to, through that scientific process, get that resolution rate up and up and up and up over time. So it's now around 65%. Still working on getting it up more and more. And we're incredibly proud of that. We think that's best in class. Anytime a customer kind of runs a head-to-head between us and between one of our competitors, a customer always tells us our resolution rate's higher, they choose us. And occasionally we even test specific competitors, and we've always sort of won those tests. So yeah, we're really proud of that. And like everybody says this, and we just always tell our customers, please just do an A/B test, do a trial, and see how you get on. And I think we're gathering momentum at the moment in the market as legitimately being the one with the highest resolution.
Yeah. And when you say it's highly configurable, what do you mean by that? And when you onboard a new customer in an industry that maybe you're not as prevalent in, what kind of data do they have to provide to optimize the solution?
Yeah, so I guess like all these questions, the nuanced questions. So the first thing I will say is, Intercom traditionally we believe a lot in like self-serve. We really like to build products rather than services. With a product, you can maintain it yourself, you can change it yourself. As we make it better, it gets better for all our customers. A lot of other people are attacking this via a services approach. They're, putting engineers in and custom engineering it, and then the product doesn't get better over time, which isn't great. So, look, we really kind of built this in a productized way, and we believe in productizing it for everybody and then increasing the quality over time for everybody. And so, initially on day one of Fin, you could set it live, and we had customers that set it live with no intervention, no onboarding, no information from Intercom at all. They would just go, they would configure Fin in our easy to use product, and it would be live, and it would do a certain resolution rate for them. And, over time, we've had loads of customers that have done that. However, we have learned as we have gone up market and as the product has matured that there's an element of business transformation to this that our customers need. So now we have sort of built the muscle really over the last sort of 6 months, the last 9 months. We've really built the muscle that we have to have teams of people. So we have a R&D services org. We've also built a professional services org. whose job it is to help customers get successful. So if you're an enterprise customer, you're an upper mid-market customer, and you need a lot of help, you maybe need to negotiate and talk to your security team to do these deeper procedures. Maybe you have a voice deployment, you need to get that voice deployment live. It's at a very big scale. You need that help, you need that services team. So we've been forced to build that muscle. Probably about 6 or 9 months ago, we didn't have a great muscle. 12 months ago, we didn't have a great muscle for that. Some of our competitors were starting to do it. Some of our competitors were starting to make headway at us because they were going and kind of by hand in an unsustainable way, probably. They were getting their core teams to like build a product for each customer. We thought that was a bad idea, but we needed to compete with it. So we built this kind of services org. We've really upped their game there for those large enterprise customers. So yeah, so today we have customers that turn it on. They get like 50-60% resolution rate out of the box. It's transformational for them. We also have a motion now for the really big enterprises where it's like, no, we can go deep. We've got a services team and do all that transformation with them. That the business process change that is hard and complicated and it needs to be gone through.
Yeah, and when you go deep, as you say, are you fine tuning the LLM behind the agent, or is it putting rules in place around the agent?
So got it. So we do not fine tune the LLMs on a per customer basis. We're suspicious of people who say they do that because you need a very large volume of data before that makes sense. Maybe the biggest customers in the world, that might make sense. But even then, we're much more in favor of fine tuning LLMs that will work for customer service generally, because then you have this huge amount of data from many, many different customers. And in our experience, that tends to outperform training for any one customer. And so that's really the way we go. So when we talk about configuring deeply for an enterprise customer, we've built this product-based configuration layer on top of Fin above the level of the LLMs. So, essentially it turns into prompts for the LLMs, but managed prompts. We don't believe that customers really benefit from having the ability to rawly prompt a large, complicated system like Fin, which has maybe 10 or 15 different prompts underneath the hood. Instead, we have learned the control that they need for their business, and we've given them easy to use windows to get that control. So to change Fin's behavior, to change its tone of voice, to make it compatible with their brand, but without them kind of messing around accidentally in the core LLMs. So it's quite configurable. It's quite customizable. You can change the order it does things. You kind of can change the policy a lot. Sort of the mechanism. A lot of AI products, they accidentally mix up customer control over like the policy with customer control over the mechanism. And then you end up with all these failed deployments or mediocre performance. We don't do that. We kind of have a standardized mechanistic layer and then like configuration and policy layer that we have done the hard work of productizing, that we expose. And that way customers, they get the improved performance of that kind of core engine getting better over time. They get that while maintaining the configuration layer they need. Sometimes there's a trade-off there, but the hard work of building a product is to kind of give customers the configuration options that they need. And I think we've done that. We've been doing that for about 1.5 years of Fin's life cycle. I think we've really done that. They can give a guidance without accidentally breaking it. We're proud of that.
This is a crowded space, as I'm sure you're aware more than me. How do you? Is the market so large that it doesn't matter? There's always another potential customer if you lose one, or is it? What strikes me about this space is, and I've talked to a lot of companies in the space, is I still I don't think yet in my personal life I've run into one of these generative AI agentic customer service solutions when I'm dealing with companies. I'm still going through the phone menus. I'm still,
Yeah.
getting, the canned answers from chatbots. Uh, so I guess the question is, it appears to me that it's kind of an endless market at the moment. How do you deal with
Hmm.
competition, and why is it taking such a long time to penetrate? Is it just companies have bought a solution and they're going to amortize it out before they switch?
Yeah, I think an interesting question with a couple of different pieces to it. So firstly, I think the market here is huge. Like the total addressable market here is like absolutely massive, right? So many people doing these kind of rote customer service tasks. It's going to go away, and like all human customer service won't go away, but all the rote stuff will, and even a lot of the stuff that's not rote, a lot of the stuff where it's like asking a question that can be answered from any sort of knowledge or documented knowledge, we think is going to go away. And so we think there's a massive market here. In terms of competition, we legitimately believe that we have the best agent, and we have a lot of data to back that up. And, you know, I think we're starting to win in the market. I don't know anyone else that has. I need to pull the exact stats. We definitely have over 5,000 customers, 50 million, over 50 million in ARR. We're growing at about like, we're on trajectory for 100 million in 2 quarters. We're growing at about 4x year on year. Like, so, there's an adoption curve, but we're growing very, very well. And so, you know, feeling pretty good. There's always an adoption
Yeah,
curve, right? If a business wants to buy something, it's not a consumer product. There's always an adoption curve. There's always, stakeholder management, the existing solution. There's all these concerns, is it good enough? Can I adopt it? And we've been going through that, for almost 2 years at this point, and it takes time, but we're seeing that very rapid growth, and, really the market is turning. And so we're feeling pretty good. And then in terms of like competition, yeah, we have competition that's growing really fast as well. And again, huge market, really expanding. So good luck to them. But we are setting out to win, and we think we're really quite sure we've better technology, we've better product, we've a very big investment here. And so yeah, that's all compete and see who can give the best product and answer the most end user customer support questions. That's how we bill. We bill $1 per resolution. If we resolve the question, we get $1. If the end user is not happy and they talk to the human, we get no dollar. So that's sort of like putting our money where our mouth is in terms of our belief in having the best product and making it work. There's a lot of vaporware out there. There's a lot of big claims out there. Our retention numbers are really good, and let's see how the market plays out. But yeah, we want to build the best, really good product for our end users, and we're going to make a good go at it.
yeah. Do you think on the adoption curve, uh, we're still just ramping up? I mean, I know you're not in sales, but how long does it take a company to make a decision uh, to adopt Fin, for example?
So I mean, this market is very structured, right? You have the top tech companies. We have some great customers. Tropic is an amazing customer of ours, and obviously really AI forward company. Other companies like Amplitude, Synthesia, like really, really good kind of tech companies. They make decisions quickly. They're very sophisticated, they're very technical, they can run tests, they can really assess the quality of a product. On the other hand, we have customers who are, more like a utility or a financial services company, and then insurance customers, like, they will have more diligence to do. They care a lot about, like, is the regulator okay with this? Is this going to get me
Yeah.
into trouble? Can you really be sure this won't hallucinate in production in a way that will cause me trouble? And so, there's an adoption curve, and different people in different industries are in different curves. So there's no one answer. I can talk about the growth of the product overall, and I think the growth of the space overall. The whole space is growing, and so yeah, I think it's maturing all the time. I think it is fast. It's a very fast growing space for B2B, but B2B
Yeah.
takes time. These are not consumer
Yeah.
applications.
And do you think that adoption will accelerate as companies realize they're going to get left behind if they don't upgrade their customer service because there's competitors
Yeah.
at their level?
I mean, again, the most honest and clear and data driven way for me to answer that is to say, like, Finn has had double digit month on month growth for at least 18 months, right? And certainly maybe 1 month, just a little bit of seasonality effects, but on average, trailing 3 month, double digit month on month growth for at least 18 months. And so, like, that is an accelerating adoption curve. That is the kind of curve you see when a market is maturing and when the product has got like good product market fit. And so yeah, I mean, I think that's the best evidence I have of an accelerating market adoption. And there's all sorts of things. There's viral dynamics. People do encounter it out there in the world, and then they look and think, "Wow, this is great. I want this for my business." And so, I think we're sort of seeing that. But we're still early here. This is a huge, huge, huge market, and it takes time to penetrate through it. And like voice, we have built our voice product is a next generation voice product. It's built with sequence to sequence models. We have competitors, even very new competitors, who kind of build the voice with like text to speech and speech to text. It's kind of
Yeah.
janky. We've gone like for the newest models. It's really, really great. We couldn't do that. We couldn't have built that product a year ago. So like voice is like the paint is still wet on voice, but it's really great and it's next generation. And so yeah, I think you're going to see continuing adoption. Like AI for voice, there's no comparison with like the best models now versus where they were like even 18
Yeah.
months ago. So yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
exciting space.
Do you think that because the market, there are so many players in the market, uh, I mean, obviously there'll be a period of consolidation at some point. How far do you think we are from that consolidation where the winners will emerge and
Yeah.
they'll either buy up the smaller competitors or the smaller competitors will fold?
It is so hard to know. I think we can only wildly speculate on that. I think huge markets with an absolute ton of value being delivered. And so like that would kind of tell you that like there'll be funding and opportunity to continue grow without a period of consolidation for a long time. On the other hand, our product Fin returns a healthy margin to us. Uh, I believe there are lots of businesses in the wider AI space where their margins are more questionable. And so, people are just optimizing for growth at all costs. And it is possible, therefore, that there will be a shakeout or a period of consolidation if something happens in the wider macro environment or in the environment of AI to kind of to drive a cooling. Um, Overall, I would probably welcome a bit of a cooling. I think we've a great product. It's not just hype. It's got positive margin. So it would suit us strategically if there was a little bit of a cooling. I don't know if we're going to get that. I do think that, the DeepSeek moment was interesting. I think the Chinese AI models are very, very powerful and compelling, and so maybe that will lead to a cooling. I just don't know. It's a big space, and that's a real macro question
Yeah.
more than anything else. So,
Well, that's interesting because what kicked off this space really was the was generative AI, and ultimately the
hmm,
transformer algorithm. Um, I mean, you're a technical guy, so looking,
yeah.
what do you think has to happen um, for the market to go through another surge, another what breakthrough are you watching? What bottleneck are you guys working on?
Yeah. I'd say a number of things there. Firstly, I believe that we are in overhang at the moment here, where like from an industry point of view, even if the AI models completely froze at their current perspective, at their current capability, we would have like at least a decade of huge growth industry to deploy all these things to many different valuable applications. So I really believe that. But I do think that, the core AI capabilities continuing to improve, and they are continuing to improve, is an accelerant to the whole space overall, top to bottom. And, really interested in things like reliability improving. We're like constantly working in our procedures product, the one that like takes the actions and calls APIs. We're constantly working to get the best reliability we can out of LLMs. And, we're investing in trying to improve that reliability at all these different layers. Also, we've really had some improvements recently in, the small models
Mm.
hypothesis, which is this sort of idea that you can take smaller large language models and you can train them to be specifically good at a given task you're interested in, really specialize them at that task. So you kind of take a model that knows how to speak the language, knows how to retrieve a lot of information, maybe knows how to do some reasoning, and then you fine tune it in a sophisticated way to be really great at a specific task. So we have a subpart of Fin where we summarize the end user's question. It's really important to do that because sometimes, before you go and go searching and you go trying to retrieve content, you really want to kind of canonicalize or summarize your question. We've built a custom model that does that by kind of like fine tuning one of the kind of the Quen models, and that's performance is really excellent, and that's replaced a call to a much bigger LLM with like better performance overall. So I think you're going to see more of that. I think that the whole tech stack, top to bottom, is like radically changing. There's innovation at all levels on it, whether it's things like replace an LLM with like a smaller custom model, build a custom model from scratch. We've deployed a whole lot of custom models we built from scratch in Fin as well. And then also at the kind of the frontier LLM layer, they're getting like better and better all
Yeah,
the time. So yeah, innovation at all
yeah.
levels in this thing.
On you mentioned insurance and banking. Those are highly regulated industries where uh, their data is valuable and proprietary. You guys are, excuse me, you guys are a SaaS product operating from the cloud. What do you do when someone
Hmm.
needs an on-premise solution?
We don't currently provide an on-premise solution. And that's a long trade-off in SaaS. Obviously, we describe ourselves as an AI company now, and I think it's going to be a long trade-off in AI as well. And it is a velocity trade-off. If you go on-premise, it's very difficult to keep your product development lifecycle iterating fast enough. And there's so much value to be unlocked in the world for customers that are
Yeah,
willing to trust the cloud. That's where we're focusing for the
yeah,
foreseeable future. And the customers we have in these regulated industries, they've crossed that bridge. They've crossed the bridge to the cloud a long time ago. And not every bank has, but many have. And so we think there's a ton of market there, and we're not going to kind of slow down and take the velocity hit of going on premise in
yeah.
that way.
That's interesting. Yeah, I just asked because you talked about smaller models, whether you were looking at
Sure.
that. The
We could deploy. We have enough of a stack now that will run entirely on models that we could deploy to somebody's cloud if we wanted to, or on premise if we want to. But it's just
Sure,
strategically not the
yeah,
direction that we want
and
to go.
on the agent capabilities. And you alluded to this at the beginning about how customers are stretching how they're using the product. Are you looking beyond customer service? If you have this powerful solution that presumably could run other business processes.
I think that is a very interesting area that I think we're not quite ready to talk about just yet, but it is absolutely an area of interest to us. How could it
Sure.
not be? We have this product, it's excellent to customer service, and then we have customers stretching it, using it for pre-sales use cases, getting a ton of value out of it, using it for success use cases. And so it's a very interesting and insightful question strategically, but I think we're not ready to talk about it.
Okay, well, this is fascinating. And if people want to give Fin a try, it's fin.ai, or what is the...
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to fin.ai, and again, it's a very self-servable product. We have put a lot of energy into that. And if it's an enterprise customer, we definitely say get in touch, reach out to sales. If it's like an SMB, we'd say give it a try yourself. You can probably unlock a ton of value. We do the work of making sure it's self-servable and productized. And we're
Yeah,
really
and actually, I do have another question. Is this targeted for and priced for, Fortune 1000 or something, or is it affordable for a small and medium sized company?
It is absolutely affordable for a small and medium-sized company. We really pioneered
Yeah.
outcome-based pricing here, where we charge $1 per resolution, and we're quite proud of that. And that means that if you have 1,000 support queries a month, and it's taking you, several humans worth of time to do them, you can afford to pay that $1. Also, if you have a huge support organization and you're outsourcing to a BPO, it should also work for you. So we're pretty happy that price really scales with the value that it's going to deliver for the customer. And we have history around that. Intercom kind of got its pricing wrong in the past, in a previous generation. We've really learned from that. We really believe very strongly in fair, transparent, outcome-based pricing, and it seems to be working pretty well for us. Are we like squeezing all the value out that we could? Possibly not, but that's not even the right way to think about this. This is a growing market, and growth is what we care about.
Build the future of multi-agent software with Agency. That's AGNTCY. Now an open source Linux Foundation project, Agency is building the Internet of Agents, a collaborative layer where AI agents can discover, connect, and work across any framework. All the pieces engineers need to deploy multi-agent systems now belong to everyone who builds on Agency, including robust identity and access management that ensures every agent is authenticated and trusted before interacting. Agency also provides open, standardized tools for agent discovery, seamless protocols for agent-to-agent communication, and modular components for scalable workflows. Collaborate with developers from Cisco, Dell Technologies, Google Cloud, Oracle, Red Hat, and more than 75 other supporting companies to build next-generation AI infrastructure together. Agency is dropping code, specs, and services, no strings attached. Visit agency.org to contribute. That's AGNTCY.org.